Well, in today's modern parenting, we're talking about religion and how it could impact your children. According to Pew Research Center, most American teens share their parents' religious identity, either because it was intentionally passed down or because they were exposed to it from a young age.
So regardless of whether you're fostering a religious household or a secular one, it's clear that kids take after their parents when it comes to their faith. Joining us now, we have parenting coach Jesse Bradley. He's also a pastor and a published author. Jesse, it's good to see you this Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining us. I know that Vicki just mentioned some data for us at the top there. A study from Harvard School of Public Health actually found that people who grew up with religion in their lives reported greater happiness in their 20s and were actually less likely to have depressive symptoms later on in life. So just to sort of start for us, Jesse, tell us more about why religion in some cases matters and what can religion do for people?
That's right. Harvard confirms that there's more generosity, forgiveness, happiness when people are active in their faith. And a lot of parents are trying to figure out, how do I provide spiritual nourishment? There's a wide range of options. It could be reading, conversations together, videos, experiences like camp, going out in nature, serving together. Here's two questions you can ask your children. What are you enjoying? And what are you learning? And the interesting part is that a lot of parents come back and they return to weekend services after they start having children, and they're honest and say, we want to sleep in, but the kids really want to be here. So kids are inspiring in their faith.
It's really interesting, that boomerang effect.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, you may have grown up with it, but you might come back after you have your own kids. It's quite interesting.
I think you come back to a lot of things when you have your own kids. Let me ask you this, Jesse. What if you were not raised in a structured religion? You didn't grow up going to church or temple, but you do want to expose your kids to different faiths and experiences. What is the best way to go about that? You show up on a Sunday at a church somewhere. What do you advise?
That's a great question. You know, everyone has a personal choice with religion, with faith. You can encourage and empower people. Everyone's on their own journey. This is a relationship with God. And I grew up in a family where my parents didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in God. And then at Dartmouth, I looked at all the evidence and kind of became the rebel in the family as I started to follow God. So what's important when there's differences? Because sometimes different religions, different denominations, in a marriage, one spouse might have had a very inspirational, meaningful experience, the other one hypocritical and judgmental. So what can we do? Listen to each other well with the goal of understanding, then let your light shine. Don't try to force and manipulate someone. Just live a life of peace and happiness, joy, and they're going to see that and want some. And then love your neighbor. Jesus said, love God, love your neighbor. We can find common ground, major on the majors, and just look around our community and serve together. Serving always unites.
I love the focus on service, but you know, when we think about growing up, one thing that I loved, you know, I grew up in a pretty diverse family, and what I loved was that my parents always exposed us, right? Whether it was through their own sense of their relationship with God or also just friends. We went to mosque, we went to Quaker meetings, we went to temples, right? I mean, how and when do you introduce religion to your kids in a way that doesn't sort of thrust your own opinions upon them?
That's right. Pay attention to their hunger and interest, the questions they ask, make sure it's age appropriate, and then be a lifelong learner. It's exciting when you're seeking God and learning new things. Like, I'm learning all the time. And walk alongside of your kids. It's important that they get to process and they really get to share honestly. And you can share your story, what you believe, why you believe it. And there's a lot to sort out. Your kids are probably online searching, you know, Google, talking to friends, and they're thinking through their different options. But bottom line, you know, when it comes to faith, taste and see that the Lord is good, and love drives out fear. This should not be something where there's performance pressure, a system of shame. This should not be someone's better than someone else because they believe. There should be a lot of love and an excitement in the journey.
And it is never too late. Very fascinating to learn, Pastor Bradley, that you came to it in college after being raised, you know, in a house where your parents didn't believe in God. Thank you so much for your time today. Jesse Bradley, we appreciate you.
And you are watching NBC News Daily.